Krause here. Now, the book today is this monstrosity, Peter F. Hamilton's Great North Road. It took me about a year to finish this book. Not because it's, so big. I mean, I love big, hefty books that also serve as catapult ammo. And this one, it clocks in at about 948 pages. I mean, I read Neal Stephenson's Remedy, which is at 1,044 pages, in about a quarter of the time. So why did it take so long? Because I picked this up, read about 3 pages, and then just flip it across the room in frustration. Now, why is that? Well, because right from the first page, I felt like I was missing something. That maybe this was part of a series and I needed to read a couple of prequels first before I got into this book. But there weren't any prequels. This was the whole story, this right here. Even though there are elements in this book that need a previous novel just to set up properly. Let me give an example. For instance, the North family itself, which, is what the North is in this title. They turn out to be a series of clones spread across a few generations. There's only one actual North. All the rest of them are his clones or the children of this clone. And over the decades, the North clones, the North family, have become so powerful that they have taken over whole planets that can be reached by a series of jump gates that the North's created, which is another thing that requiring a novel in itself. This gateway travel to other parts of the galaxy, and how Earth's undesirables colonize these planets under the benign rule of the Norths, who have cornered some kind of algae growths on all these planets called biofuel, which is used to keep the Earth running. Until the Xanth show up, which is some kind of bizarre alien life like a fungus or spores that drop out of warp time and shower a planet with itself and cover everything, but not until the Earth Air Force or the Intergalactic Space Patrol or whatever the hell it is shows up and blasts the atmosphere with nukes, giving the hapless colonists time to get away. But then the space cadets, they go to these Xanth-coated planets and drive around, walk around like it's nothing. All of this tossed off in a couple of paragraphs. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like backstory or exposition, especially in sci-fi. And I've long praised authors such as Alastair Reynolds who start their epics right in the middle of the wondrous technology and advancements and resultant social changes with nary a word of explanation. I mean, there is usually enough in the story itself that you can figure out what's going on. For example, Reynolds' tech virus in the Revelation Space series is slowly eating the captain alive. That makes sense. Okay, that's plausible and understandable within the context and doesn't leave you going, huh? Well, until, you figure it out somewhere within the first 50 pages, which is about my test for a sci-fi novel. If after page 50 you're still going, huh? Something's wrong. I was pretty much going, huh? Throughout this entire novel right up to the end. Not that there weren't payoffs. When the book finally got to the point, it was a fairly decent point. I say fairly because the point was only reached after some fairly extensive suspensions of belief, even for a sci-fi novel. Like, say, how was it that no one in the high-tech prison knew that one of their high-tech prisoners was embedded with high-tech weaponry? You'd think the high-tech prison people would be on the lookout for something like that. And how is it that one of the characters turns out to be the daughter of another character, something that isn't communicated to you until 400 to 500 pages after the mother and the daughter have already figured it out? I mean, come on. And you just don't do stuff like that. There's a character named Angela, very important in the whole thing. She's the high-tech prisoner that's filled with the high-tech weaponry. She was convicted of murdering a house full of Norths 20 years ago in a manner that's fair nigh impossible unless she was imbued with high-tech weaponry, which she is, but not of the type to inflict the wounds found on the bodies. She used it to protect herself from the alien who murdered the Norths. Are you confused yet? Well, just wait. Or spare yourself and don't start reading it. Because if you do, something interesting and downright exciting will happen about every 30 pages or so that will keep you going. It's like an 18th century sail to America. They get stalled in the dry Tortugas. And then there's a breath of air, a breeze that pushes you a little further along. Then you're stalled. Then you breeze, inch by inch, page by page. So what's this about? It's basically a police procedural with a lot of epic galactic space opera, alien attacks, dystopian feudalist crap wrapped all around it. Someone has murdered a North, an unknown North at that, which is some kind of major violation of cloning rules or something, and some sad sack cop named Sid gets the case. Now, Sid's the best character in the book. I mean, he's a flawed guy trying to do a job with the usual political interference by bosses and unusual interest from a government agency obsessed with aliens. Now, Sid employs all kinds of various high-tech investigative techniques that will leave you just, somewhat bewildered, because the tech is baffling, and the means bad guys use to thwart the text is even more baffling. You're going to have to take notes, believe me. Anyway, the murder becomes rather mundane in the face of expeditions to find alien monsters and nuclear attacks on Xanth and the redshifting of Sirius, but it's still there underneath all the noise. And all of that is just noise. It's designed to distract you from what should have been, obvious in the first place. Who committed the murder, which I'm not going to tell you because it's obvious in the first place, underneath all the noise. So, but then if Peter Hamilton had written just a straight up story like that, the book would have only been 300 pages. D. Krause here. See you later.